everything started to crumble for us as far as we didn't have a label as a home.
He sued us.
Ja Rule and 50 Cent beef has been going on for nearly 2 decades, and they are still going at each other any chance they get. But according to 50 Cent, he completely destroyed his rival's life.
And there's something going on between you and Ja Rule. Seems to be doing very well for himself.
Not anymore.
Yep, 50 Cent knew exactly what he did. He had crushed his op completely and sent him into oblivion. So much so that Ja Rule and his crew admitted that he had taken the L in their beef.
We took the L. We took the L.
So how exactly did 50 Cent do it? How did he manage to crush Ja Rule, who publicly admitted to losing? Let's find out. Beef origins.
I'll tell you personally, the Murder Inc., the people that you see like Irv, Ja, the people that are involved in the business aspect are bitches.
We're sworn enemies forever. He's a bad father. He looks like his breath stinks all the time.
Ja Rule's pettiness on national television only proves one thing to rap fans. 50 Cent destroyed him. The G-Unit rapper annihilated and humiliated him so badly that he ended up taking petty shots at him any chance he got. But how did 50 Cent destroy a rapper who was once the hottest in the game? As it turns out, 50 Cent borrowed a leaf from the famous 48 Laws of Power, where Robert Greene advises to crush your enemies totally. Seems like 50 Cent took the advice to heart and has been slaying his rivals without mercy. In fact, he was such a big fan of the book that he teamed up with the author to write the 50th Law. So, how exactly did he do it? Well, to understand 50 Cent's craftsmanship, it's important to trace where the beef started.
I've heard it has something to do with that. I didn't say what's up to him or something like that. Like he came running up to me like, yo, what up, Rule? And I was like, yo, what up? And he hates me because of that. This is what I gotta deal with, man. This is the fuck I gotta deal with, man.
A lot has been said about the origins of the beef between the two rappers. Lies and truth have been mixed up. But according to Ja, 50 Cent was mad because he didn't acknowledge him back in the day during a music video shoot. However, that's not how most people remember the origins of the beef. Queens, New York is a place where the streets hum with the raw energy of hip-hop and the aspirations of its artists. It was here, in the late 1990s, that two rappers' paths would cross in a way that would forever change the landscape of the rap industry. The tension between these two men can be traced back to a fateful day in 1999 when Ja Rule found himself staring down the barrel of a gun. As the story goes, Ja Rule was robbed of his chain by one of his associates. According to Ja, his buddy accused the rapper of sleeping with his girl when he was locked up. Although Ja Rule denied this, his associate, while holding a gun to him, stole his chain. Well, according to 50 Cent, the robber was also his friend. 50 Cent would later recount this incident in his 2005 biography, From Pieces to Weight, painting a picture of the street's unforgiving nature. He claimed no direct involvement in the robbery, but the association was enough to sow the seeds of discord. Ja Rule saw 50 Cent in a club shortly after the robbery, alongside the man who had robbed him. When 50 approached Ja to greet him, the tension was palpable. Ja Rule's reaction was one of disdain, and from that moment, the lines were drawn. That's how the beef originally started. My man robbed him for a chain, and then this guy named Brown came and got the chain back for Ja. Later, Ja saw me in a club with the kid who robbed him. I went over to say what's up to Ja, and he acted like he had a problem with me. But I'm not the one who robbed him, 50 Cent wrote. In a documentary, 50 Cent revealed that he knew that his buddy had robbed Ja, but couldn't distance himself from him since they had grown up together.
He see me kicking it with the nigga who robbed him, and he feel like, oh shit, I shouldn't speak to this dude because I know the kid robbed him, but I know this kid, I grew up with him.
This was back in 1999 and Ja was popping. On the other hand, 50 Cent was virtually a nobody. According to Ja, 50 Cent used this incident to kickstart the beef and leverage it to grow his career. The animosity grew as 50 Cent released Life's on the Line, a scathing track that didn't name Ja Rule but left no doubt about its target. The song mocked the murder chant of Ja Rule's label, adding insult to injury and escalating the conflict. The streets of New York were buzzing with the sound of this brewing war and fans were taking notice. The year 2000 brought a new level of confrontation. Both rappers were booked to perform at an Atlanta club, and what should have been a night of music turned into a battleground. The altercation that ensued would be a harbinger of the chaos to come. Ja revealed that he was holding a bat while verbally confronting 50 Cent. The G-Unit rapper wasn't having it and decided to sucker punch Ja, and a scuffle ensued.
I'm holding the bat like this. The talk got heated because I got mad and I started screaming at him and telling him that, he was a bitch and this, that, and the third. And so he swings at me. You know what I'm saying? He caught me a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But I dipped it and then hit him with the bat. Boom!
But the real turning point came in March of that same year. Ja Rule, having heard that 50 Cent was recording at the Hit Factory in New York City, decided to confront his adversary. The confrontation turned violent, resulting in 50 Cent suffering a stab wound. The incident led to the arrest of Ja Rule and Black Child, a rapper from the Murder Inc. label. Although 50 Cent didn't talk to the cops, some of the guys he was working with at Hit Factory, who were not into the gangster lifestyle, filed a police report, and the NYPD placed an order of protection on people involved in the incident. This forced the Murder Inc. crew to stay away from anyone named in the report, including 50 Cent. Well, word got out that 50 was a snitch, a cardinal sin in the rap industry. Being an up-and-coming rapper, and Ja Rule having more street cred at the time, the streets turned on 50 Cent. In his autobiography, Ja revealed that 50 Cent had been blacklisted from the industry. The message was sent to every record producer and DJ throughout America not to play 50's shit and not to even with it. The streets obeyed. At one point, 50 Cent couldn't find a recording studio anywhere that would let him record in their facility. Ja Rule wrote, "It was all going wrong for 50 Cent, and it would only get worse." On May 24th, 2000, 50 Cent was famously shot 9 times in front of his grandmother's house. Miraculously, the rapper survived the shooting. With 50 Cent out the way, Ja Rule's run in the industry was unstoppable as he went on to dominate the rap charts. But 50 Cent was eager to make a comeback, and once he had fully recovered, he wasted no time and went back to the studio. However, since he had been blacklisted, he went to Canada to get studio time. This is where everything changed, as Eminem, impressed by 50, decided to sign him to Shady Records. It was at Shady Records where he dropped the famous track Wanksta. In 2002, he released Wanksta, a track that would become legendary and featured on his breakthrough album, Get Rich or Die Trying. The song was a blatant jab at Ja Rule, painting him as a fake gangster, a wanksta, who talked big but achieved little. 50 Cent's rise was meteoric, and Wanksta became an anthem of the era. In an interview with MTV, he explained the term, saying it described a gangster who doesn't progress, someone who's caught in a cycle of empty boasts and unfulfilled promises. The track was a commercial success, but more importantly, it was a psychological blow to Ja Rule, who was now facing an opponent whose reach was growing by the day. The rap community watched with bated breath as the beef continued to simmer. The rivalry between 50 Cent and Ja Rule was more than just a personal vendetta. It was a battle for the soul of hip-hop, a struggle between two visions of what the genre could be. The feud showed no signs of cooling down. Instead, it was about to reach a boiling point involving some of the industry's biggest names. On January 16, 2003, an unknown gunman opened fire in the offices of Violator Records and Violator Management, which handled the career of 50 Cent at the time. Although no employees or artists were injured in the shooting and no arrests were made, early reports tied the incident to the beef between 50 and Ja Rule, and was the latest indication that the issues between the two had escalated to a point of no return. Trouble in Murder, Inc.
It's not over, and when it's over, I'll tell you how I feel.
At one point, Murder Inc. seemed unstable. In fact, after 50 Cent dropped Wanksta, Ja went on Source magazine where he directly threatened 50 Cent, Eminem, and Dr. Dre, saying, "If you're gonna be authorizing 50 Cent to spew records on me, then I wanna do what I gotta do to take your company under." And that goes for Dr. Dre, M, or whoever. However, Shady Records were the least of their worries as they were soon entangled in some pretty serious legal issues. And this is where it all went south for Ja Rule, something he admitted years later.
It was a lot going on in that time frame. You got the federal indictment.
In the early 2000s, a seismic event rocked the hip-hop world when the federal government targeted one of its most illustrious labels. Murder Inc., the powerhouse behind megastars like Ja Rule and Ashanti, found itself in the crosshairs of an intense investigation. The feds, suspecting illicit activities, raided the label's offices, searching for a connection between the music empire and the shadowy dealings of the Supreme Team, a notorious drug gang. This raid wasn't just a mere operation, it was a dramatic showdown that threatened to unravel the very fabric of an industry giant. The connection between Irv Gotti and Kenneth Supreme McGriff, a figure with a notorious past, cast a long shadow over Murder Inc.'s achievements. McGriff, a name that commanded respect and fear in equal measure, was the convicted leader of the Supreme Team, a drug cartel that once held Queens in its grip. The plot thickened when Gotti funded Crime Partners 2000, a film co-produced by McGriff. This move raised eyebrows and suspicions, drawing the attention of federal authorities. The government began to piece together a narrative that suggested the label's success may have been fueled by more than just hit singles. As the investigation gained momentum, the tension was palpable. The feds were closing in, and the walls of the empire that Gotti had built began to tremble. The stage was set for a confrontation that would shake the foundations of Murder Inc. and challenge the legacy of one of hip-hop's most influential labels. On January 3rd, 2003, the tranquility of a New York winter morning was shattered. Federal agents, armed with warrants and a steely resolve, descended upon the offices of Murder Inc. The raid was swift and surgical, as agents from the FBI and NYPD Employees swarmed the building, their presence an ominous sign of the storm that was about to unfold. Computers, documents, and records were seized, each piece a potential puzzle in the case being built against the label. The agents were meticulous, leaving no stone unturned in their search for evidence of the alleged financial ties between Murder Inc. and the illicit activities of the Supreme Team. The immediate aftermath of the raid was chaotic. The music industry reeled as news outlets broadcast images of the label's headquarters, now a crime scene. The artists of Murder Inc., once the reigning monarchs of the charts, found themselves in a limbo of uncertainty. Ja Rule, Ashanti, and others watched as the empire that had been their launchpad into superstardom came under fire. The impact was profound and far-reaching. The raid not only disrupted the label's operations, but also cast a pall over its future. With the specter of criminal charges looming, Murder Inc.'s business relationships began to fray. Distribution deals were put on hold, and the label's financial stability was in jeopardy. For the artists, the raid meant canceled tours, delayed album releases, and a tarnished public image. The perception of guilt by association weighed heavily on their careers. The once untouchable Murder Inc. found itself grappling with a crisis that threatened to end its reign at the top of the music world. During this time, 50 Cent was causing a wave in the industry as he dropped the hottest song in the game in Day Club, a track that even Irv Gotti admitted years later gave Murder Inc. a major L.
You can find me in the I'm like, this is it. I turned to Rule and everyone in the office, and I said, yo, buckle up, we have a major problem.
After 8 weeks, the song topped the charts, becoming 50 Cent's first #1 and stayed there for 9 consecutive weeks on the Billboard Hot 100. In March 2003, it broke a Billboard record as the most listened to song in radio history within a week. Billboard also ranked it as the #1 song for 2003. To make matters worse for Ja Rule, 50 Cent dropped his famous Get Rich or Die Trying album, which had the diss Back Down that was directed at him. 50 Cent also added 2 J. Rule disses, Life's on the Line and You Not Like Me, as bonus tracks on the album. 50 Cent wasn't going to let this chance slip away. He was literally kicking a man while he was down with the federal. Indictment on Murder Inc., Ja couldn't respond with music. And with 50 Cent's album selling more than 872,000 copies in its first week, close to 1 million people were bumping to Ja Rule's diss tracks. Slowly but surely, the fans started to turn on Ja Rule. And if things couldn't get any worse for Ja, Eminem entered the fray. Eminem teamed up with Ja Rule's op, DMX, on the track Go to Sleep, where they dissed Ja mercilessly. After remaining relatively silent in the face of 50 Cent's smear campaign, Ja Rule returned fire in April 2003 with the diss track Loose Chain, taking aim at 50 Cent and G-Unit, as well as Eminem, Dr. Dre, Busta Rhymes, and Chris Lighty. He even threw a shot at M's daughter, Haley, showing that he had no intention of throwing in the towel and was willing to go toe-to-toe with his adversary. Eminem, known for his lyrical prowess and no-holds-barred approach to feuds, took the insult to heart. The response from 50 Cent, Eminem, and Busta Rhymes came swiftly. Just 1 week after Loose Change was released, they dropped Hail Mary, a track that destroyed Ja Rule. The song was a masterstroke, using the beat from Tupac's song of the same name, a rapper Ja Rule was often accused of trying to emulate. The diss track was a brutal takedown, and it solidified the alliance between 50 Cent and Eminem as one of the most formidable in hip-hop. Ja Rule, however, was not one to lie down quietly. He released Guess Who Shot Ya, throwing jabs over a classic Biggie instrumental. Ja then dropped his 5th studio album, Blood in My Eye, which had many references to 50 Cent and G-Unit. The album was a declaration of war, a statement that Ja Rule was still in the fight. However, it fell short of the success of his previous multi-platinum releases. It was clearly Ja Rule's first major L, and he would continue to experience more of this as time went by. The fall of Ja Rule.
Yeah. We did it! Yeah. I'm overjoyed. I can't say thank you enough to these 2 guys that I got my arms wrapped around.
And I'm just happy to say that we're in.
2 years down the line, Murder Inc. was still at it with the feds. The legal battle that ensued was nothing short of a Hollywood thriller, but it was a grim reality for Irv and Chris Gotti. The federal government, armed with its arsenal of resources and a conviction rate that would make even the most seasoned criminals pause, was poised for what many assumed would be a swift victory. The Gotti brothers, however, were not ready to relinquish their empire without a fight. With the full weight of the U.S. justice system bearing down on them, they assembled a formidable legal team to clear their names and save their life's work. Throughout the ordeal, the label faced monumental challenges. The raid on their offices had yielded a trove of documents, which the government scoured for evidence of wrongdoing. The label's finances were frozen, and distributors and partners distanced themselves with the specter of criminality looming. Murder Inc., once a titan of the industry, found itself isolated, its future uncertain. The Gotti brothers watched as their empire was on the brink of collapse. Artists were unable to release new music, and the label's reputation was in tatters. Despite these challenges, the Gotti brothers refused to capitulate. They poured upwards of of $10 million into their defense, a testament to their determination to fight for their innocence. The trial dragged on, each day a grueling test of resilience. The label, in a symbolic move, shed its murder moniker, rebranding itself as the Ink Record. This was not a white flag of surrender, but a strategic pivot, a signal that they were not defined by the allegations against them. The climax of this legal saga came when the jury returned with their verdict. Against all odds, and in defiance of the government's formidable track record, Irv and Chris Gotti were exonerated. However, they were now in a bad situation, especially when it came to money.
I could get my life back. Not only did they take your life, but they took your livelihood, because basically once the government put these charges on you, you couldn't earn money. So for 3 years, you couldn't go get money like you're supposed to.
Although Ja was finally getting a win, it wouldn't last long. First, the Ink never really took off, and he decided to start his own label, Empire Records. However, that too didn't take off as he hoped. It seemed like nothing was going well for him while his rival was on top of the world and couldn't stop mocking Ja every chance he got. After taking L after L, Ja decided to take a break from music, but his life went from bad to worse, and he was soon caught up in legal trouble. In 2007, as Ja Rule left a concert at the Upper West Side's Beacon Theater, cops stopped his luxury Maybach and found a .40 caliber unlicensed handgun. The presence of the gun in Ja Rule's car was a violation of New York's stringent gun laws. Faced with the possibility of a mandatory minimum of 3.5 years in prison if convicted of outright criminal possession, Ja Rule decided to plead guilty, and on December 13, 2010, Ja Rule received a 2-year prison sentence.
Ja Rule is gaining headlines, not for his music, but for his legal woes. The rapper, real name Jeffrey Atkins, surrendered to New York police today as he begins a 2-year prison sentence for criminal possession of a firearm.
In July 2011, Ja Rule received an additional 28-month prison sentence for tax evasion to run concurrently with his state term, failing to pay taxes on more than $3 million in earnings between 2004 and 2006. He has also been ordered to pay $1.1 million in unpaid taxes. Although he was released in 2013, he continued to be involved in shady dealings, and in 2017, he found himself in yet another nightmare.
Fire failed this morning. Musician and Fyre Festival co-founder Ja Rule in the hot seat. Twitter users not mincing words. Fraud, liar, manipulator, demanding to know what Ja Rule knew and when, following the release of not one, but 2 new documentaries on Hulu and Netflix.
Fyre Festival was a fraudulent luxury music festival organized by con artist Billy McFarland and rapper Ja Rule. It was created to promote the company's Fyre app for booking music talent. The festival was scheduled to take place on April 28, 30 and May 5, 7, 2017 on the Bahamian island of Great Exuma. However, it was a big flop as, during the festival's inaugural weekend, the event experienced problems related to security, food, accommodation, medical services, and artist relations, resulting in the festival being indefinitely postponed and eventually canceled. And although the rapper was officially dismissed from a $100M class action lawsuit filed by Fyre Festival attendees and cleared of any legal wrongdoing, his rival 50 Cent was on site to clown him. 50 took to Instagram where he posted a pic and captioned it, "Appoint Ja Rule as Secretary of Festivals, can't do nothing right." And although the two rappers no longer go at each other in their music, social media has become their new battleground. The two continue to clown each other to this day, with Ja Rule declaring that the beef will never end. Ja Rule's career ended miserably, and it is all traced back to his feud with 50 Cent, who made him the laughingstock of the industry and showed him no mercy while he was at his lowest. After 50 Cent got the upper hand in the beef, Ja Rule never recovered. If you enjoyed this video, click on the boxes playing on your screen to watch similar content.